Hello viewers, I'm your host Uzma Jaffrey with another episode of South Asia Focus. Let's begin the show with India, where leaders of 10 ASEAN members congregated in the capital New Delhi on the invitation of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to join the 69th Republic Day celebrations and for a two-day ASEAN-India commemorative summit. A report.
India, which has been pursuing an Act East policy of developing political and economic ties with Southeast Asian countries, invited all 10 leaders of ASEAN nations to participate in the 69th Republic Day celebrations. The leaders also held bilateral and multilateral talks on the sidelines ASEAN-India commemorative summit. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi met the leaders of Association of Southeast Asian Nation member countries at the Presidential House in New Delhi for a retreat with the theme Maritime Cooperation and Security. The summit also marked the 25th anniversary of the partnership between India and the regional bloc. Prime Minister Modi, while expressing his gratitude to the ASEAN leaders for accepting his invitations, said that this gesture of them would further bolster their relationship.
Your collective presence here has also touched the hearts of my 1.25 billion fellow Indians. It highlights the importance of our strategic partnership, placing ASEAN at the center of India's Act East policy.
Trade and investment and mutual cooperation in security and defense between India and ASEAN countries have grown significantly in the recent years. The trade between India and ASEAN stood at $71 billion in 2016-17, which is 10.85% of India's total trade with the world. The Singaporean Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong, who is also the current chair and Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, presented a historic opportunity for India and ASEAN to enhance their trade and business ties.
The Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, the RCEP, which is currently being negotiated by ASEAN, India and other partners, represents a historic opportunity to establish the world's largest trading bloc, which would enable our businesses to harness the region's true potential. Expanding connectivity, air, land, maritime, and digital connectivity is also important for growth. It will reinforce business and people-to-people links between the two sides and benefit both our peoples. We believe that India makes a major contribution to regional affairs, helping to keep the regional architecture open, balanced, and inclusive.
RCEP is a proposed free trade agreement between the 10 nations and its 6 dialogue partners: China, India, Japan, South Korea, Australia, and New Zealand. Meanwhile, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi said India and the ASEAN nations will further work together to boost maritime ties.
India shares ASEAN vision to peace and prosperity through a rules-based order for the oceans and seas. Respect for international law, notably UNCLOS, is critical for this. We remain committed to work with ASEAN to enhance practical cooperation and collaboration in our shared maritime domain.
India's successful diplomatic efforts in recent times were testified by the presence of all 10 ASEAN leaders on the stage set up on Rajpath to witness the grand show of the Indian Republic Day parade. The biggest ever gathering at an event showcasing military might and cultural diversity of India was not just a diplomatic victory, but was a strategic win India has acquired in the region towards its east.
The ties between India and the grouping of Southeast Asian nations have been strengthened after India has put a special stress on its Act East policy. Before hosting the ASEAN leaders in Delhi, PM Modi had visited the Swiss city of Davos with largest ever Indian contingent of over 100 delegates for the World Economic Forum. A report.
World leaders, economists and CEOs of top multinational corporations congregated in the Swiss city of Davos to discuss a wide range of topics including global economy, commodity prices and environmental issues at the World Economic Forum or WEF under the banner Creating a Shared Future in the Fractured World. Narendra Modi, the first Indian Prime Minister to visit the forum in over 2 decades, stressed on the core issues which were affecting the discourse. Modi's speech focused on climate change, terrorism and globalization. He asserted that international laws required immediate reform as they had become ineffective in today's time.
हर कोई इंटरकनेक्टेड विश्व की बात करता है, लेकिन हमें इस बात को स्वीकार करना होगा कि ग्लोबलाइजेशन की चमक धीरे धीरे कम होती जा रही है। संयुक्त राष्ट्र संघ के आदर्श अभी भी सर्वमान्य है। वर्ल्ड ट्रेड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन भी व्यापक है, लेकिन दूसरे विश्व युद्ध के बाद बने हुए विश्व संगठनों की संरचना, व्यवस्था और उनकी कार्यपद्धति क्या आज के मानव की आकांक्षाओं और उसके सपनों को, आज की वास्तविकता को परिलक्षित करते हैं क्या?
Modi also spoke about the constantly degrading essence of globalization and a spike in the obstacles for bilateral and multilateral engagements owing to some countries promoting protectionism.
ग्लोबलाइजेशन के विपरीत प्रोटेक्शनिज्म और उसकी ताकतें सर उठाती जा रही हैं। उनकी मंशा है कि न सिर्फ वे खुद ग्लोबलाइजेशन से बचे, बल्कि ग्लोबलाइजेशन के प्राकृतिक प्रवाह का रुख भी पलट दे। इसका एक परिणाम यह है कि नए नए प्रकार के टैरिफ और नॉन टैरिफ बैरियर्स देखने को मिल रहे हैं। द्विपक्षीय और बहुपक्षीय व्यापार समझौते और नेगोशिएशंस एक प्रकार से रुक से गए हैं।
He said climate change was a major threat to the world, yet the world had failed to unite to tackle it. He said everyone wanted carbon emissions to be cut, but the rich world was not ready to help developing economies with new technology.
वातावरण को बचाने और क्लाइमेट चेंज का प्रतिकार करने के लिए एक बहुत बड़ा अभियान, एक बहुत बड़ा लक्ष्य भारत सरकार ने देश के सामने रखा है। सन 2022 तक हमें भारत में 175 गीगावाट रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी का उत्पादन करना है। ये बहुत बड़ा लक्ष्य है भारत जैसे देश के लिए।
India, one of the world's fastest growing major economies, has repeatedly said it is keen to honor its commitment to clean up the environment despite US President Donald Trump pulling out of Paris Accord on cutting carbon emissions. Reacting to the Prime Minister's speech, Indian industrialists and commentators said India was emerging as a hub for industries. Indian delegation, the fourth largest group in the forum, comprising top industrialists including Reliance Industries Chairman Mukesh Ambani, Bajaj Auto Chairman Rahul Bajaj, Bharti Enterprises Chairman Sunil Mittal, said India had become an investment destination and everybody was getting attracted to the country.
All we were talking about, the future is India. India will become an economic power, and the government is doing very hard. Our Honorable Prime Minister is working very hard, and a lot of law they changed in India for ease of doing business. A lot of changes happened in India. So all the global international business community is very happy.
Prime Minister also met with 60 CEOs. According to the World Bank's latest Doing Business 2018 Reforming to Create Jobs India report, India has jumped 30 positions and now falls under top 100 countries in terms of ease of doing business.
Modi also said if anybody wanted wealth and wellness, health and wholeness, peace and prosperity, then he must visit India. Moving on, we now talk about Pakistan's Balochistan province, where the human rights situation is deteriorating. Not only incidents of enforced disappearances, but cases of tortures and killings are also on the rise. The spiraling number of terror attacks has prompted the Balochs to seek urgent international attention. A report.
Meet Abdul Qadir Baloch, fondly known as Mama Qadir, who has been raising the issue of enforced disappearances and killings of civilians in Balochistan. According to him, over 45,000 Baloch people are missing after being abducted by Pakistan's law enforcement and secret agencies. In 2014, Mama Qadir made history with his 1700-mile march from Quetta to Islamabad, which sought to draw attention to the disturbingly high number of missing Baloch people.
पाकिस्तान ने वो हालात पैदा किए हुए हैं और पाकिस्तानी एजेंसीज़ ने लोगों को उठाना, मारना और उनकी मशक़शुदा लाशें फेंकना, रोज़ाना बम ब्लास्ट करना, रोज़ाना दहशतगर्दों को पालना और उनको सामने करना। अभी अगर दहशतगर्द है, कोई आके वहाँ दहशतगर्दी करता है या बम स्वीट कर होता है, तो उसका न धड़ मिलता है, न टांगें मिलती हैं, न पाँव मिलता है, सिर्फ उसके चप्पल मिलते हैं कि जी ये दहशतगर्द था। अरे भाई, उसके बाकी आज़ा किधर गए? तो इस तरह उनके वहाँ न पुलिस भी वहाँ महफूज नहीं है।
People in Balochistan not only suffer at the hands of security forces, but the surge in attacks by terror groups of Islamic State and other outfits has raised serious security concerns. In 2017, 70 people were killed in Balochistan in 5 major terror attacks. Baloch alleges that the Pakistan army is behind these incidents as it has given a free hand to terrorists in the region.
ये फैक्ट्री जो है ना दहशतगर्दों का, ये आर्मी और आईएसआई ने बना रखा है। ये सारे उनके लोग हैं, या बलोचों को वो पैसा दे के ख़रीद के दहशतगर्दी कराते हैं, या अपने ही लोग जो उनके फ़ौज में हैं उनको इस काम के लिए लगा दिया है कि आप मज़हब के नाम पे, इस्लाम के नाम पे, मज़हब के नाम पे ये काम चलाएं, हम आपको इतना मुआवजा दिया करेंगे।
Violence in Balochistan is escalating because of China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, a multi-billion-dollar project which passes through the territory. It is also significant because of Gwadar, a port city in Balochistan which connects to China's Xinjiang. Baloch people are opposing the project as their resources are being exploited, but in turn, they are not getting any advantage.
देखो ना, हमें आज तक सीपेक न बना है और न बनेगा, ये मैं आपसे गारंटी के साथ कहता हूँ। पाकिस्तान जितना शोर मचा रहा है कि सीपेक बन गया, सीपेक के रोड बन गए, ये हो गए, हालांकि ऐसी कोई बात नहीं है। ये मुशर्रफ के दौर में वर्ल्ड बैंक का कोई हेड आया था कि ये रोडें बनाओ, ये उसी को बना रहे हैं। चाइना का पैसा उन्होंने अपने इलाके में, अपने वतन में, पंजाब में उन्होंने 52 अरब रुपए उन्होंने पहले दिया था, उसके बाद अभी 10 अरब रुपए बाद में दिया। 62 अरब रुपए का आप यकीन करें एक ईंट अपनी जगह से दूसरे जगह पे नहीं हिला है।
Pakistan Army is also carrying out operations in Balochistan. In recent past, several incidents have been reported where the army killed civilians and abducted women and children. Such acts of brutality by the state and non-state actors in Balochistan invite urgent international attention.
Balochs accuse Pakistan of forceful occupation of Balochistan and say they will continue to fight for their homeland's sovereignty. Now we take you to Afghanistan, where the terror strikes continue to rock the country. The terrorists are intentionally targeting the important installations to subvert the government in Kabul. We have a report.
5 terrorists stormed the office of aid agency Save the Children in Jalalabad city on 24 January. Gunmen killed at least 5 and injured dozen others before they were suppressed by a combined operation of police and Afghan commandos. Islamic State, which claimed the responsibility of the attack, said in a statement on its Amaq news agency that it intended to target British, Swedish and Afghan government institutions. The deadly incident shook the authorities of Save the Children, who later condemned the attack.
We are devastated and very sad to announce that today 3 of our staff have been killed in Afghanistan. In Jalalabad, it's a city in the eastern part of the country. We've also learned that 4 other staff members have been injured and they are now receiving care. These are all Afghan nationals who've dedicated their lives to supporting children, making sure they have a healthy start, that they learn, and that they're protected from harm.
Save the Children, which claims to have a reach to almost 1.4 million children in Afghanistan, said that it was temporarily shutting down its offices in Afghanistan following the growing threat in the region. It has operated in Afghanistan since 1976, working in 8 provinces as well as in 3 others through partnership agreements. At a news briefing, United Nations spokesperson Stefan Dujarric said Secretary General Antonio Guterres expresses his deep sympathy to the families of the victims and reiterated that humanitarian aid workers should never be targeted.
He expresses his deep sympathy to the families of the victims. Human rights organizations provide life-saving assistance to the most vulnerable men, women, and children in Afghanistan. Aid workers and their premises and their assets should never be a target. The Secretary General reiterates that all parties to the conflict in Afghanistan are obliged under international law to protect humanitarian workers and civilians.
Capital city Kabul also faced deadly attack on January 22 as gunmen in army uniforms stormed the Intercontinental Hotel. More than 30 people were killed and several wounded in the incident. Eyewitnesses and survivors of the deadly attack shared harrowing tales of escape.
ساعت 9 بجه شب ما در لابی نشسته بودیم با همکارا صحبت میکردیم که فایر شد دیگه ما مجبور به فرار شدیم دیگه استاد خدا نمیشه دادم روی مرمی استاد نمیشه بعد از راه آشپزخانه ما پشت سر هتل خود کشیدیم و طرف کو.
It's the latest in a series of attacks on the Afghan capital aimed at undermining the confidence in the government.
A statement from the Interior Ministry put the blame on the Haqqani network, a group affiliated with the Taliban. Moving on to Bangladesh, where repatriation work of Rohingya refugees has been delayed due to incomplete process of compilation and verification of the list of people to be sent back. Officials say sorting through the list of volunteers that want to go back is taking far longer than expected. A report.
Following a repatriation deal signed earlier this month between Dhaka and Naypyidaw, hundreds of thousands of refugees who fled the state of Rakhine following a military offensive launched in the month of August to wipe out insurgents are ready to go back to their homes. This is the first time ever since the humanitarian crisis broke out that the Myanmar government has shown interest in taking back its citizens. The repatriation process was supposed to start from 23rd of January, however, it was delayed following an official hurdle that cropped up at the very last moment. Myanmar officials said they were ready to begin accepting returning Rohingya Muslim refugees despite a delay in the repatriation process.
We are prepared to receive 300 returnees per day at the moment. And the number will be a good increase based on the progress of the first batch that will be coming across.
As per the agreement, the repatriations would take place 5 days a week and then be reviewed after 3 months to see if it can be accelerated. Only voluntary repatriation will be done in the next 2 years.
To start filling the forms provided by Myanmar side. And also, after filling the form, I think they said they have to give the list also to the UNHCR. UNHCR also need to check whether they want to go on their voluntary visit. So there are so many steps to be taken by the Bangladesh side.
Meanwhile, tension is simmering in camps since the two governments signed the agreement. Many of them are reluctant to return as they are scared of history getting repeated once they return. They say that the deal doesn't talk about their safety, and also there is no mention of citizenship rights, which they have been denied even after living there for centuries. Filippo Grandi, Commissioner of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, said that a number of issues were required to be resolved for repatriation to be sustainable and viable, including the citizenship issue and basic rights of Rohingyas in Rakhine. A list of demands set by Rohingya leaders also asks that homes, mosques and schools destroyed in the conflict be rebuilt.
United Nations, which believes that conditions in Myanmar are still not suitable to return, has called Naypyidaw to allow the necessary unhindered humanitarian access in Rakhine state and create conditions for a genuine and lasting solution. Moving on to Sri Lanka, where thousands of Buddhists welcomed the arrival of a statue of King Maniakkika with a colourful procession, which involved crossing of river in the western suburb of Kelaniya. Take a look.
Maniakkika, the ancient king, was recorded to have invited Lord Buddha to visit the area during his rule. Buddha, who lived in neighboring India, made his final visit to the island nation to Kelaniya in the 6th century BC, accompanied by 500 of his followers. To mark the importance of King Maniakkika, the current head of the historic Buddhist Kelaniya temple ordered the carving of the first ever statue of the king in Thailand.
The importance of this event is, with according to our chronicles, it says Buddha visited this historical temple in 6th century BC. The king, the called Maniakkika, he personally met Lord Buddha at his residence Jetavana temple and made an invitation to visit his kingdom.
The statue was taken on a boat with chanting Buddhist monks and was escorted by other boats with traditional drummers across the Kelani River. On the other side of the river bank, the head priest of the well-known Kelaniya Buddhist temple, Reverend Professor Kolapitiya Mahinda Sangrakita, accepted the guardianship of the statue and was taken in a ceremonial procession to the inner chamber of the temple. The statue of King Maniakkika from this year will lead an annual street procession of the temple, which began in 1927 and attracts tens of thousands of onlookers every year.
Buddhists believe the temple to have been hallowed during the third and the final visit of Lord Buddha to Sri Lanka, 8 years after gaining enlightenment. With that, we come to the end of this week's episode. See you next week. Take care and goodbye.